Listen, y'all niggas don't know how happy I am as of this very moment, because ever since I watched Super Eye Patch Roll's video recommending this manga, reading it and getting caught up with it, I have been patiently waiting for Dandadan to get an anime adaptation, and now that it's here, I'm over the moon. I feel like a Discord moderator and the girl they've been grooming for 2 years finally becomes legal. But anywho,
let's go!
Oh yes, daddy.
My fault. That was just the sound of me violently ejaculating all over my screen because this shit is just that beautiful. But moving on, the episode starts off with Momo being told by her boyfriend that they're not going on a date if she's not paying for it. But he will settle for some pussy as long as she's paying for the hotel they're spending the night in. And Momo, being offended by this, she drops her bag, goes in for a roundhouse kick, gets blocked, goes in for a punch, then that gets blocked as well. Then this nigga sends Momo to the ground and starts calling her lame and broke. And the moment I saw this, I immediately got on my feet, started applauding and yelling at the top of my lungs, "City boy! City boy!" Because there is nothing that I love seeing more than misogyny. How dare Momo expect the bare minimum of being respected as a human being? Does she not know that women deserve less? And when he said she should pay for the date, I was like, yes sir, this nigga spitting. Yes king, spoken like a man who knows his value. Momo then responds to him with the weakest insults ever, calling him an octopus, a squid, a tuna. Of all the insults you could think of, that was the best he could come up with. You couldn't call him a bitch, a bum, a fat. So Momo goes to her HGs. HGs. Isn't that how you young whippersnappers speak?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So she goes to her homegirls in hopes of being comforted, but they didn't help with shit. So she ends up walking around the school in hopes of getting something to distract her from her breakup. And that's when she sees my boy Ken getting bullied. And when she sees that, she decides to stand up for him. And thank goodness she showed up at the right time, because these niggas were about to hit Ken with a magnet. These guys are the embodiment of that one Caleb City skit.
Prank him, John. You already know.
They just take the joke too far. I mean, why is your homie's face covered in your semen when all you had to do was put whipped cream on him while he was asleep? So after seeing how spineless the niggas who were harassing Ken are, she got up and left. But because of what she did, Ken caught up to her and started talking about some I know what you're after. A girl like you talking to me can only be for one reason. You're interested in the paranormal, aren't you? You must believe that UFOs and UAPs have made contact with the earth. And unfortunately, as y'all can see, my boy Ken is too socially retarded to realize that he's scaring the host. Because Momo then tells him she's not interested in that shit and to piss off. But Ken was still being persistent about the paranormal stuff. So then Momo got annoyed and told him not being aware of social cues and forcing this paranormal shit down people's throats is why he doesn't have friends. And my question is, when she was talking to her boyfriend, where was all this energy? Because the best she could come up with was calling him a squid. But she goes off on Ken. Okay, I see. Momo's that type of person who picks her fights and goes all out when the person on the opposite end is weaker. So she ends up feeling bad and says, yo, I'm sorry. I don't believe in the paranormal, but I do believe in ghosts. Ken then responds saying,
You stupid!
Ghosts don't exist. So Momo hears that and gets fired up and is like, you mean to tell me you don't believe ghosts exist, but you think something as brain dead as aliens do? So Ken also gets fired up and says, you mean to tell me that you don't believe aliens exist, but you think that something as brain dead as ghosts do? So they end up being like, okay, cool. Let's make a wager. If one of us proves the other wrong, the loser will have to do whatever the winner says. And they're like, bet. Get it? They made a wager and then they said bet.
Oh, bro.
So later on that night, Momo is at a hospital where there's been reports of UFO sightings, and Ken is at a closed off tunnel where there's been reports of ghost sightings. So while Ken is on the phone chit-chatting with Momo looking around the tunnel, he stumbles upon Turbo Granny. And the first thing she says is, I'll let you suckle on my teats, so let me gobble your weenie. Hey, Ken! Where the fuck are you going? Turbo Granny's the other way. Did you not hear her proposition? I don't know about y'all niggas, but if I was in Ken's shoes, I'd be leaving that tunnel with a wet dick and a ghost STD. I don't care. So while Ken is busy getting cursed, Momo gets abducted by aliens and I don't care if these niggas are aliens, because when you're on Earth, you abide by Earth laws. Because forcing a minor's legs apart is insane. And y'all niggas being like Namekians and having a planetary sausage party and needing to diversify your population so that there can be more women doesn't excuse this bullshit. So right in the nick of time, is that how you use the phrase? Ken shows up with the coldest pull-up ever, but that entire pull-up gets cancelled out because this is what he does right after. You know what? It's not Ken's fault. He's possessed by Turbo Granny. So the aliens get on the offensive and Ken is just dodging the attacks, and then he...
Hell no, man. What the fuck?
So after putting down the first alien, he runs over to take down the second one. But before he could do that, he got turned into wallpaper. And when he tries to get out of the crater, he gets blasted back. And the alien continues with his Cosby activities, which results in Momo getting an anime flashback. And you know what that means. Momo just awakened her powers. And when she got that boost, she hit the alien with the same move she hit her boyfriend with. Only difference is that it actually worked this time and sent this nigga flying into their spaceship. And while her guard was down, that's when Turbo Granny attacked her. But Momo was quick to react and got her off her and out of Ken. But that didn't help with much since Turbo Granny still has Ken's wing and he is still cursed. And Turbo Granny says if they want his wing and the curse lifted, they'll have to meet her at the tunnel.
Catch me outside, how about that?
From the bottom now, we are a little bit higher from the bottom. I hope that the process knows that we are trusting it, but fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, we are locked in.